All right, so we're going to start the financial literacy unit. This is all about making money and basically calculating taxes is the main goal for this year. So today we're going to start with some basic stuff, income, okay? Income is a word for making money. There's a lot of different types of income you can make, and we're going to go over a couple today. But there's two main types of income. There's gross income and net income. So gross comes from French gros or Latin, whatever. It means big. So gross income is like the grand total, how much money you make. The net income is after you take away deductions. The main deduction is taxes, but it also includes stuff like paying CPP and EI and other stuff. Okay, so gross is just the rough how much money you make in the year. Net is how much of that money actually goes into your bank account, because a lot of it has to get paid to the government. We're going to talk more about net and deductions next class. Today, let's just focus on four main types of salary. There are other types, but these are the ones that are going to cover most of you in this class in your life. Let's start with hourly, actually. Hourly is what most of you, if you have a job, probably have. It's saying that you get paid this much dollar, however many dollars per hour that you work. Okay, so a lot of jobs, a lot of starter jobs or like fast food, stuff like that, are going to be hourly wage. These are good because it's really straightforward. I work this many hours this week, therefore I get this much money. But they're kind of bad because you usually don't have benefits. So for example, if you call in sick one day, you don't get any money, which can be really risky if you do get sick and you have to be away from your job for a while. Salary is where you get paid this much money, usually per year. So they say, okay, we're going to hire you, we're going to pay you this much money every single year. A salary job, usually more stable, and they are a lot of times like office jobs, stuff like that. But they're more secure in the sense that usually salary jobs means if you call in sick, you're still going to get paid. You also don't necessarily have to work this many hours, but so the downside to that is sometimes you have to work more. So for example, my dad had a salary job, he got paid however much per year, but a lot of times he had to like work on a weekend, or if there was a big project coming up at work, he had to work late. But then he also had the freedom that sometimes you would say like, oh, my kid's sick, I have to stay home. And the boss was like, yeah, okay. But he didn't lose money for that. Obviously, every job's different, but that's the main difference between these two, okay, is like getting paid for not being there. Also, vacations. A lot of salary jobs have vacations, whereas hourly, you don't. Commission is when you get paid a percentage. So there's two main types of commission. There's like the big commissions, and then there's like the small commissions. A lot of times, big commissions, the big two is cars and houses, so real estate. If you sell a house for like $1 million, even if you get 1%, it's still a lot of money, okay? So you can live off of pure commission jobs for selling cars and houses. Small commission jobs is usually when you have a salary plus a commission. So you get paid some amount of money, but then you also get a bonus based on how much you sell, okay? And that again will be the percentage. So stuff like usually salespeople in a smaller sense. So like if you watch The Office, they sell paper. The salespeople there are paid commission on top of their salary. Okay. The last one, which is kind of common, is gratuities. So gratuities is a fancy word for tips. This is usually people working in restaurants, but sometimes like hairdressers and stuff like that get paid gratuities as well. This is usually you get paid a salary. Sorry, not a salary. Hourly wage, usually, plus the tips. There's this weird exception, right, with the people that serve liquor, usually in restaurants and stuff. Their hourly wage is actually lower than minimum because they get paid tips to supplement that. So those are the four main types, and they actually make a difference when you do your income taxes and stuff. So that's why we're quickly going over them. Let's just do two example questions. There's other questions you're going to do that are very straightforward. The main thing I'll say for these questions is just read, okay? A lot of times there's like a weird detail in the question that's really easy to overlook by just jumping into the numbers. So just read really carefully before you start. They're not difficult. They just usually involve a lot of steps that are like annoying. So this person's paid graduated commission. 5% on the first 4K sales, 6% on the next 6,000, and 10% on anything else. They sold this much in total. So what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to break it into three categories. The first one was 4,000. The second one was 6,000, and the last category was the rest. So I'm going to take that 13,520, and I'm going to subtract 4,000. It's more than 4,000, obviously, right? So that means he's going to get paid $4,000 at the 5%. So percentage is 0.05. Okay. Now what do I have left? So after I do that, 13,520 minus 4,000 is going to leave me with 9,520. Now what we have to do is how much is there enough to fill into this second box, the $6,000 box? There obviously is. Okay, so I take away the 6,000, that's going to go into here, and we're going to multiply that by 0.06%. Okay, and then whatever's left is going to be 3,520. That's going to go in the rest category, and that gets multiplied by the 10%. Okay, so now all we have to do, we find these three numbers and just add them together. This question's only tricky because you need to figure out how much goes here by taking away the other two categories. There also will be some trick questions where there isn't actually enough to go into here and it just fits into the second box. Again, not difficult, just need to go through the steps. The last one, this one's a pain. She works at a local convenience store. She gets paid $18 per hour for a 40-hour work week, but then she gets overtime pay. So we got to see if she goes over the 40. Last week she worked this schedule. On a day where she works in the morning and lunch, she gets a 1 hour unpaid lunch break. Calculate her gross income. So in order to do income, I need to know hours. I need to use this to figure out the hours. So I'm going to look at this chart. So 9 a.m. to 5:30. What I'd like to do for this is I like to think, okay, if this is the morning, how many hours until lunch? Until 12. So 9 to 12 is 3 hours. And then for here, it's 5.5 hours, right? 5:30, 5.5. So it's going to be 8.5 hours. But be careful because they said that you get the lunch 1 hour unpaid. So that's actually going to be 7.5 hours. And then I can go through the rest and do it. This one, same thing, 7.5. This one, she only worked in the afternoon or the evening. So that means there's no lunch break. So it's just going to be 4 hours. And you can go through and do the rest. Okay. When you do the rest, it ends up being 42 hours in total. I'm too lazy to show it. Okay. So 42 hours in total. So again, we have two categories. We have the 40-hour work week. So 40 hours times $18 an hour. But then we also have the overtime pay. So the overtime pay, if we look, she had 42 hours, that means there's going to be 2 hours times her pay was 1.5 times. So we do 18 times 1.5. Once I find these two numbers, that's how much total pay she does, and you add them together, and that gives you the answer. So, like I said, these questions aren't hard. You just need to spend the time and read the question carefully so that you don't miss over something like the overtime pay or the unpaid lunch break. All right, and that's it.